Hello, good evening, welcome to the stream. David Runes, Thamajack, Hideous Winter, Robert Headley. Hello, hello, hello. Robert Headley, you remember when Castlevania was good? Well, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from going back and playing Symphony of the Night. You can grab it as a digital download if you have, I think, a PS3 or a PS4. You can go to the PlayStation Store and get yourself a digital copy of the PS1 original. In addition to that, for the PS4, there was the Dracula X Chronicles re-release, in which you were able to finally get all together Castlevania Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night together in one package, because they are two perfectly interlinked games. Hello, David. Thank you. Thamajack, I don't know. I liked Lords of Shadow. From what I saw of Lords of Shadow, I'm very curious about that game. I think I want to try it. looks like a very solid 3D action game that can do a whole lot there. So I think Lords of Shadow was on the PS3. Oh yeah, Davey, this is the best song. It took me a long time to add this song to my playlist, but I also figure that when I play a game, I need to add it to the playlist for all of my stream music. So yeah, it's taken a long time, but it was always a good idea. Okay, so tonight gonna be my last stream for a little while. I am going on vacation over the weekend, a long one. I'm gonna be out of state for 5 days. So no stream this weekend on Friday or Saturday, and no stream this coming Tuesday. So you're gonna have to wait at least 10 days until I come back. And hopefully the time I spend in Seattle will help to stir up a good queue of games here. I figured tonight I was going to take it easy. I'm going to bust out my Saturn. My Saturn, which thankfully still has my Mr. Bones save file from when I completed it on stream months ago. Dark Souls 3, very good. I should play that game someday. I'm doing very good. Mr. Bones Puggers, hello Padoka Gaming, thank you. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Mr. Bones was very important to me in my early teenage years. Once upon a time, I could play this game without even thinking about it. My hands would do all the work, and I just sat back in my teenage bedroom and enjoyed the story unfolding in front of me. It was great. Yeah, Robert Headley, Femijack, you two might be the same kind of gamer, the same kind of nerd, or at least have some good overlap there. Femijack is good on the retro computing, doing some PC 98 playthroughs, in fact, so that might spark some of your interests. Swore for the longest time that BioShock was made by BioWare and refused to play it. Who would refuse to play a BioWare game? Honestly, that's a terrible excuse. But thank you, Dave Lunes. Thank you, Padoka Gaming. Thanks everyone who wanted to show up to see this weird game again. I think it's time I pull this down here, and let's switch things over here to where the main game scene is. Oh, hey, my Saturn was not on this menu when I switched away from it. It's just a really strange thing that OBS is very bad at capturing audio whenever I use a console directly with it. So I'm glad this happened, at least. David Runes, Castlevania was perfect. I had a very good time with it. I got to 199%. I got the good ending where Maria followed Alucard. It was perfect. I can't wait to start. I want to play as Richter, and I also want to start a new file so I could play it faster. So at least, well, the disc is in there, so I should close the lid. There we go. Promise this is a real copy of Mr. Bones, but the pseudo Saturn is really good for that. Famijack going back to modern games before going back to retro. Yeah, I can see that. Retro games can feel very difficult to deal with, because you have to handle all of the problems that old games had, where they did not give you any comforts whatsoever. So yeah, that's it's nice to play newer games that perform well and actually give you some nice things here. And maybe, ooh, is there just a second here? I think I can get away with this. There's a filter that I can add to this. Compressor, expander, gain, emitter. Oh, I thought I could use a de-interlacer on this. I guess I don't get to do that. I swear I was able to de-interlace it at one point. Oh, an FX filter? Would that be an option? Chroma key, color correction, color key. Limit render delay, scalings, aspect scroll, sharpen. No, I guess that feature is not there. I remember it being there in the past. Oh well. That's fine. But anyway, let's make sure we get full stereo sound because the music in this game is great. And let's fire all this up. This is the story of a skeleton that gets to be the anomaly that goes through life again. And right now here with Grave Escape, I think what happened here is that I skipped a crucial opening cutscene, and that's, well, it's kind of a problem, because what had happened, there's the villain of this game named Dagulian. Yeah, I know, the de-interlacing artifacts here are terrible, and I couldn't find the de-interlacer in OBS. I'm kind of surprised, because I am capturing directly from my Saturn into OBS, and I didn't want to, and I thought I had everything fixed and looking good, but I guess it only looked good in still images. So the evil guy in this game, Dagulian, invented a new type of energy called skeletism, and he injected this entire cemetery with skeletism and that red glow right there. And with skeletism, you can reanimate the dead. And what you can also do is that you can command the dead people that you've brought back using percussion, of all things. So whoever made this game, they hated drummers. They hated drummers a lot. They decided to make a drummer the villain, basically, which is really, really funny. And as much as I would like to go faster in this level, it's an auto-scroller. I cannot glitch to the left, because if I fall all the way to the left, that's a kill zone. Why does the skeleton escape from the others? Because I am the one skeleton out of all of the rest of the skeletons that came out different. When I came out of my grave, I have blue eyes. All of the rest, they have red eyes. And these blue eyes make me special. I have my own mind. I do not listen to the bad guy. McQueeb! They're already got an undead army. What difference does one more skeleton make? Well, the difference to Dagulian, the bad guy, is that Dagulian identifies Mr. Bones as an impurity, because Dagulian is all about pure evil. He wants no other opposing side. He wants nothing to stand in his way, because he's cartoonishly evil. Skeleton races, yeah. It's the old cut. It's yeah, they're skeleton races. The only difference is the color of the eyes, and that's a reason to start a war. But yeah, that's a whole other crazy topic that we don't need to get into. And as soon as this level is over, I'm gonna try to fix the interlacing. Reason I prefer to play this on a regular Saturn instead of emulating it to try to make it look better is that, for one thing, this game is very weird. It tends to crash a lot in emulators, even if you use a good emulator like Mednafen. So that's a big factor there. Plus, I like playing this game with the Saturn controller as well. Thanks for stopping by, McQueeb. I imagine you've got yourself a full night of streaming ahead of you playing Noita. Yeah, and this level in particular is very difficult on emulators, because emulators for some reason have a hard time displaying both rows of skeletons, the ones in the back and the ones in front. And it's hard to play this level when you can only see half of what you're supposed to be avoiding. So I just have to survive best I can. And for some reason, butterflies carry the magic blue energy that heals me. And before anyone thinks that it's possible to, like, damage boost your way through the game, that's also not possible. They intentionally have an anti-damage boost mechanic in this game. It's crazy. No hit runs of bones. See, that would be the best, to do this no hit, to do it all one cycle, which isn't impossible, just improbable. And as I take damage, of course, that means my skeletism gets reduced. So my bones won't hold together as well as they used to. And that's why I keep mashing the A button. That's the mechanic that they gave as an alternative. That if I mash the A button, I can manually generate enough skeletism to get my bones glued back together for a second. And also, my only defense against myself heals me by being able to zap enemies. And these butterflies are not coming fast enough. Yep, so there I died. Yep, expect to see this a lot. This is actually a pretty hard game. So yeah, you can see my eyes turning from blue to red because all the bad guys took away my skeletism. And now I'm converted into the Dark Army. Saturn FPGA, Robert Headley? I don't think so yet. Just, it took us long enough to get good emulators for the Saturn just with software. So FPGA, I would think, would be much more difficult. We're very lucky these days. We have FPGA for NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, and I know there's some good things being done with the Mister project, but I don't think Saturn is there quite yet. I'm gonna try one more time to enable deinterlacing here because wait, when I right-click, there's specifically something called deinterlace. So if I hit that, put all my fields together. Uh-oh. I bet Keptris would be able to do it. Guy's a genius. Oh, I'm so envious of Keptris. He is so good. Oh, David Renes, thank you very much. I've seen some of your stream too. You play some really great games, and you talk a lot to everyone. You give a lot of love to people. You say nice things about everyone. So thank you for coming in. I know language barrier is a problem sometimes, but I will try to work on my Spanish so that I can be better at working with you, David Runes. Thank you very much. Yeah, always have to be aware of the camera. So Ronnie Montrose did the soundtrack for this. Yes, the late great Ronnie Montrose did the soundtrack for this. In fact, let me go check my stash here for stuff that I dumped for stream. I hope I have this here. Okay, I'm going to... Ooh, I might have it somewhere else in my Dropbox. Because there is... Please tell me I have it. Yes, I do have it. There was a studio soundtrack released for this game as well. And it's not just music that sounded exactly like it does in game. This is real studio complete versions of these songs without that sound perfectly mastered. It's great. So I'm going to share with you guys. This was already available here, and I'm so happy I can put this right here. About 5 years ago, I had to pay $40 to get a copy of the soundtrack to this game. I wonder if I still have the CD nearby somewhere. At least I hope I do. When moving back here from Seattle, some things are not where I thought they would be. I'm gonna go check my CD stash real quick here. Just a moment. Okay, so my Mr. Bones CD is not close to me. It's probably down in one of my storage bins here. But I still did uncover a couple of other decent discs that I still have here. I had to make sure to get the special edition of Breath of the Wild so that I could have the special audio CD that came with that. Physical soundtrack to A Goofy Movie because I wanted perfect quality versions of all of that music. And I probably spent more money than I wanted to spend for this as well, but I also found it important to have Dragon Ball Super. That soundtrack was good for me to have as well. I'm not surprised you have the soundtrack to uh-oh, Robert Headley, you found the link. I wonder. Best game indeed, David Unis. Oh, it's still $41. Okay. One new from $75. Okay. Oh, I purchased this item on January 16th, 2016. Okay, that sounds about right. 4 years ago then. Okay, well, with that little interruption, and now that I've got deinterlacing put on, I think... Ooh, that deinterlacer is a little too powerful. It's adding a little bit of lag. If I go back to Blend 2X... Okay. Looks fine. Looks fine, plays fine. But yeah, Padoga Gaming now you can download the soundtrack, and that's a very high quality version of the cover art for the Mr. Bones soundtrack, so you can enjoy that. And this version of the deinterlacer is not great either. One thing I like about this level is how they keep you from cheesing it by standing at the edge, because at the very edge, on both sides, they'll put their arms up at the same time, so you can't just stay there and be lazy. And I also have to figure out how to memorize the patterns. And of course, butterfly. Always puts me in harm's way. Pinche mariposa. Uh-oh, surrounded. Do not want to be surrounded. I'm trying to stay, like, on top of them. If I bounce on their heads, or motivate a few of them to, Ah, this is rough. And go figure, I started stream and that's when my cell phone started blowing up. That's usually why I take my cell phone and I just throw it on my bed whenever I stream. Poor Mr. Bones. Strictly, thank you for coming in tonight. One of my subs, thank you very much. Poor Mr. Bones, yeah, he can't catch a break. And I'm trying to play fair here, even though I have, of course, unlocked all the levels. I'm going to play them in order. This was a game I really wanted to play as a kid. Me too, Padoka Gaming. I think if I didn't pre-order this game, then I had my eyes on all of the gaming magazines, so I could know its release date. And I was there as soon as I got my first. As soon as I saved up, I think it was actually kind of like a budget title. I think I remember getting it for $40, which was very rare back then. Especially because this game has very high production value, 2 CDs, and all of this music from a real blues musician. Hideous Winter! Oh yeah, strictly once we get to the cutscenes, I think you're going to be in for a treat here. This game this game definitely brings together everything that was weird about video games in the mid-90s. I'm already in trouble. No! I'm done. Yep. Playing Uno, but everyone is tired, Hideous Winter? It's only 9:30. Everyone should still have a lot of energy. I don't know why everyone would be tired, but playing Uno is very stressful. There's some jitter there. I cannot pick the best deinterlacer. Well, they have a deinterlacer called Retro, so how about I snap that on? That seems like a good idea. This is actually nice because usually I have OBS off to the side and my game window directly below the camera. But this time around, I can just do everything inside OBS, play the game and see chat and all those other things. I'm going to save the big blue skull there for later. Oh wow, this retro deinterlace setting here at OBS is great. Looks beautiful. This finally does the Sega Saturn justice, because I'm hooked up with S-Video right now. It's the best I can do until I get an OSSC. Then I can use all my SCART cables, do RGB, things will look even better. But OSSC, those things cost $200, which I don't have quite yet. Very soon I might. That was bad. RGB goodness, yes. We talked so much about RGB goodness in my last stream with Donkey Kong Country 3. I wish all SCART cables for my video game consoles could be that thick like the one I just purchased. Uh-oh, started right from the beginning. Did not mean to do that. How about I just do a little... Oh, hey, I got the opening cutscene. This will help out. I'll shut up and let the cutscene do its work.
Every night the army of darkness gains more soldiers. Tonight, the world will be mine. One single night, my army of darkness, of purity, will descend upon the earth. Then there will be no more conflict, no more struggle between good and evil. There will only be evil. The world will be pure as the black void of space. Only in absolute purity can absolute beauty be found. And the only purity there is evil.
Here we go.
I used to have more skin on these bones? Man, you know I got the blues. Excuse me, did I miss something? What's going on? Oh, I see. Nice talking to you.
It was so great to have these animated cutscenes at the time.
Somebody's
You were
messing
correct.
with something he shouldn't be messing with. Now we're living proof of that. Undead proof, anyway.
You are an impurity.
Hey, let's not get personal now.
You will be dissolved.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, that's the intro that we all needed to catch up. My apologies for not triggering that correctly earlier. So maybe I just do a soft reboot and try to proceed with the mausoleum. Definitely need to fucking run. Or, you know, maybe I don't need to suffer through the mausoleum, and you guys do not deserve to suffer through the mausoleum. I need to practice that offline, because I want to try to speedrun this game to figure out how to beat it as fast as I can, and maybe when I go to SGDQ in the summer, I can be a bigger part of it than just someone who watches it there in that room. I have a bunch of Japanese Sega Saturn magazines I need to scan and upload. Oh man, the Japanese art for this game was beautiful. They have a much better cover for this game, and I feel like I'm really missing out by not having anything Japanese related to my Saturn stuff. But let's move on to the Valley. The Valley, thankfully, is just a simple, straightforward platforming level. And I'll just try to get through it as quickly as I can. You can mash buttons to play with the bones on the loading screen. That's what I do sometimes. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Don't randomly throw things at me. And these guys that pop out of the ground, they like to steal your bones. They took my leg. McQueeb, oh shit, if that happens, I'm coming with you. I mean, McQueeb, I'm definitely going to SGDQ anyway. But I would be honored if you were on my couch, McQueeb. You and a couple of my other friends who are from the area. I have quite a few friends in Minneapolis who are also massive nerds, and having that kind of energy with me would be great. because that's one of those time-honored things with SGDQ is that you already worked hard to become a runner, so you get to choose your couch for better or worse. Yes, absorbing energy from a blue grave. Not all of the sound effects are loading correctly. That's weird. But that's the one kind of trick to this level, is that you have to find these key pedestals to progress. So it's still, I think, a pretty normal platforming level. It's just making sure that you pay attention and that you always know where those key pedestals are hiding. Oh no! No! And this is also why it's not possible to damage boost through this through most scenarios in this game, because the goal is not to just get to the end of the level. The level will have a special gate, and that gate will dictate the shape that your skeleton must be in order to let you out of the level. Almost got a lot of Saturn games last week, both Panzer Dragoon, Daytona, and some others, but the seller disappeared. Oh no! Both Panzer Dragoon games would have been so good. That also sounds like you were looking at a $500 package, but that's fine. Anything to make the collection look good. Yep, I have so much skeletism, I'm carrying an extra leg. Look at that. It's like $100. Wow. I almost feel like for $100 that deal was too good to be true, so someone exposed the seller as a scammer, so they had to go hide. So like how the game takes physics into account based on what limbs you have. Yeah, that I think was a really advanced thing for the time. That Mr. Bones moves very differently depending on which limbs he has or doesn't have. And even right now, I still have my hips, but there's even separate movement for whether he doesn't have hips. He's modular. He's fully capable of moving around in different pieces. That's kind of what makes him special in some other ways too. Oh, he probably did some research. That makes sense too. When I hope maybe he had a friend who helped him realize how much his collection was actually worth, so that not that you were trying to rip him off or anything, but but he deserves to get full value especially for Panzer Dragoon. And I need to go back and find a leg somewhere, because this is not great. Don't take my... And this is part of the damage boost thing I was talking about. Only had a couple games, so the pack was gonna get like 10 new games out of it. Oh wow, that's still impressive. Okay, so there's a room down under me. This is embarrassing. Stripped down to just nothing here. And I thought this was gonna be easy. Let's see, what bones can I recover? I have to go back so many places to try to find bones. And I can't just get arms, I need ribs and then arms. Just like right there, I had hips and legs. And even more so, Famijack, for the physics that you're talking about, because I'm low on health right now, if I fall, there is fall damage that happens. Muchas gracias, De Verunes. Always good to have you. And ribs, arms, perfect. But anyway, Famijack, fall damage. That normally, when you're at full health, fall damage really isn't a problem. But right there, you see, because I'm low on health, if I fall from any height, it's likely that I will lose pieces. So that's an even more crazy thing that the game does. Now I'm just gonna run. Oh, you took my leg. I'll try to grab a leg later. Screw this. At least with one leg, I can get up here and advance in the level a little bit. Nope, no legs down there. Can I get some help at least? Oh, a mushroom stash. Oh man. Yeah, butterflies and mushrooms. The imagery in this game is very interesting for all that can heal you. Oh, cool, I found a leg. No, I just want to get out of here. Just let me out of here. And of course, I had to clumsily spring off a tree branch because that was a very common thing in 90s platformers, is the wobbly tree branch, which may or may not help you. Finally. More cutscene action. This is why this game was on 2 discs.
I'm stiff as a wet sheet in a cold snap. You better face facts, Mr. Bones. They ain't gonna leave you alone. Some red-eyed devil's gonna make his bones tonight. Yeah, maybe I should just let him. What's that sound? Yeah, maybe there's a hotel I could hole up in. Some gingerbread house, bed and breakfast, skeleton hotel.
Skeleton hotel.
I don't know this place, but I know that sound. But how do I know?
And guess who shows up inside that cabin?
Is someone out there? Who are you? What do you want? No, I know someone's out there. Either come inside or be on your way.
I mean, if you're into blues music, he's Santa Claus.
Do that. It'll make that pretty noise.
What, have you been dead for 50 years? It's called a guitar, son. Why don't you try one on for size?
Blind man doesn't know that's a skeleton. Rest in peace, Ronnie Montrose.
Don't think about it. Just play it. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, sounds like I'm back in serious jelly.
Serious
Are you
jelly.
messing with the Gullion?
The Goulian?
The man with the drums.
Yes, sir, we are messing.
You'd better hang on to that guitar. It might come in handy.
Thanks. Later on.
I mean, I guess it is that easy to play guitar if you just try to dig into all of the, dig into the memories of when you were alive. That's what Mr. Bones is doing. And now this is like the most primitive version of Guitar Hero in this upcoming level, where you just have to
How about that?
press buttons in time.
One chord and I wigged him. Now, y'all can't talk, but you can listen and maybe even feel.
The song that ends the world. This is just a tribute to the greatest song in the world. The world's not actually going to end. It's just a tribute. And I think I need to be, like, correctly on the measures, too. And there we go. I was playing it really safe by sticking to the ones in each measure, but I could probably game that a little bit.
They don't make them like they used to.
I didn't have to press buttons in any specific sequence. I just had to make sure.
A sense of humor. Situation like this could be downright depressing.
I just had to make sure that I hit it rhythmically, and even then, a good amount of there's a lot of wiggle room in that too. So for a rhythm game, it's pretty decent. Yeah, I know, Family Jack. The things I was doing weren't entirely apparent, but it was. But I promise it was probably a lot simpler than it looked. That level was definitely a rhythm game, but it was only like the barest minimum of a rhythm game. This is just the next level. This is Night of the Bats. I encountered a place where there's a shitload of bats, and the bats robbed me of my bones. So I need to traverse a few levels to get all my bones back. Well, and here's the even more strange part to this is that just because I get all my bones back does not mean I'm allowed to leave with all of my bones, because these levels here are they have some of the special gates that I was talking about earlier, in which your bones must be in a specific configuration in order to allow you to pass. So it is kind of frustrating in that aspect sometimes. The black bats, especially, not racist, are the ones who steal your bones. And that to me was part of the charm of this game, is that it's incredibly random. Thanks for stopping by, Fam and Jack. You have a great night. Take care. Oh yeah, big zombie. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna absorb some of your energy because you guys are juicy with skeletism. Shimmy, zombie, shimmy. Okay, yeah, here's the messed up part. I have this is the level end gate right here. I need to have one arm, I need to have my ribs and nothing else. So because I have my hips and an arm, I have to break myself in pieces to be considered eligible to leave this level. So I'm just having to be, there we go. And now I can leave. So now, Dawn of the Bats. You can kind of see the theme they were going for here. Uh-oh. Gonna let the peaceful bats do their thing while I try to recall the layout of this level and deal with the incredibly terrible collision detection on this branch. Because, of course, a Saturn game doesn't exist without a few weird corners being cut for the sake of, holy crap, this thing is hard to program games for. Oh no. Let's keep my energy levels up, and let's keep those black bats away. Just like all of my playthroughs of Link's Awakening, I have to be especially discriminatory towards bats because they can and will ruin any semblance of progress that I've made. The bats cannot win. The bats can only damage my run. Ugh. And they just yanked my only means of defense. While that bat right there is getting directly in my way. Oh hey, there was hips hiding inside that log, and oh hey, there's another arm. Alright, kind of back in business here. I think there's a zombie nearby though, so I better be careful. And yeah, scary rumbling that happens for some reason. Ooh, I just barely made that. Come on. Yeah, there we go. No! Bats robbed me. Bats robbed me of my dignity and my progress. I'm just gonna try to like jump over this zombie and hope for the best. Nope, I guess there's no jumping over. And yet again, bats in my way. Bats in my way. And there's the fall damage. And you can kind of start to see how, you know, when you're 13, a game like this is kind of okay because you have all the time in the world to figure it out and memorize it. But here I am, you know, all these years later, and the story has changed. I know I haven't technically learned my lesson here by trying here again. Let's see if those bats come back, and they did. Go figure. So now I'm being absorbed back into the Red Collective with the evil skeletons. But that just means I get to head back to the options menu and try again. I think I might, just for the sake of stream, limit myself to no more than like 2 or 3 attempts per level, and then I will, and then if not, then I can just flip right past it, because yeah, we don't need to deal with that. Plus, all the really cool stuff, I think the truly cool stuff is hiding on the second disc anyway. That's where, like, if you think what's happened so far is weird, we haven't even started yet, truly. So C is for jumping bones, and then B doesn't do much. A makes them throb like that. It's pretty nice. It's nice being able to play with loading screens. And surely there's got to be a lot of songs that reference bluebirds that are good fodder there for being able to tie together the themes of this game. Blues music, the afterlife, and being a skeleton. We can all rate to being a skeleton, right? Give me one arm, please. And then I can use the one arm to regain some energy and get that back. All right. Now to deal with these bats that are in my way. Too many of these bats are in my way. Those arms are valuable. They're my only defense in life. Yeah, if I stay taking the high road, then I have a chance here, because that path I was taking previously is not good. Well, I guess I'll take this arm. There we go. And can I slip a bluebird? That's good. Slipping a bluebird, I mean, not directly a drug reference. Yeah, yet another one of those frustrating platform things where you have to look out for platforms and kind of make assumptions about what is a platform and what's not. Really annoying when games do that, but that's just kind of a fact of life. So, oh hey, we found the gate, and I need a leg. I am currently legless, so I need to figure out where to acquire such a piece. And I thought I'd be able to hit the top of this tree here, but apparently not. So let's go leg hunting. Leg hunting also requires having a hip. Keep your anatomy lessons together, kids. Because humans are clearly only 5 bones. The skull and spine, the ribs, the hips, and each limb. No more, no less. If you've got more than that, go see a doctor. Okay, they must really be forcing me to go all around the level, because I really haven't seen much of anything in terms of legs. And yeah, making me go into the freaking black bat hive to possibly find a leg is downright evil. I bet there's a leg up here. Oh, close enough. Found some hips. That's the crazy part about this game. It's about how Mr. Bones himself is probably technically just the skeleton, or just the skull and spine. Because you will lose and reacquire various skeleton pieces, which theoretically are supposed to be his, but it's never really confirmed or denied whether these random bones found in the forest are his. They just happen to be compatible because, well, skeletism draws all the bones together. That's the goal of Degulian skeletism. To be a supernatural force that keeps bones glued together. And I just got robbed of an arm. Let's do a run without losing any part for a 100% original Bones. That actually does sound kind of appealing. I mean, that would probably technically be a no damage run. Like, trying to run this game, any run of this game is weird as heck in the first place. But to try to do extra things, like you said, keeping my original skeleton intact, that's special. I know I've been up here, just wondering where I can find a leg. Oh, come on, I'm supposed to be able to climb up there. I have my hips, am I not tall enough? Because Mr. Bones does not automatically grab onto ledges. You have to press the jump button when you're close to a ledge in order to grab on. Where the hell did they hide the freaking leg in this level? Do I have to go all the way back to the beginning? I feel like I have to do that now. Well, then I guess you always lose your parts in this level. Yeah, that's that's the problem. No matter how hard you try, your parts are getting messed with. No, seriously, I've not seen a single leg in this level yet, and I've definitely been to most of the level. I might just have to skip this on principle. Oh wait, do I have to do this thing? I have a boulder to push. And I think, oh man, this is one thing that will be important to remember. I need to start making a notepad for this. Day of the Bats. Oh, it's just health restoration. I was hoping that the leg was hiding back there. That is... I feel trolled. Okay, 2 arms, not bad, but... Well, that was short-lived. Oh, saw a bone over there. It was just an arm. Bone in there, not a leg. Reacquired an arm. And obviously, in some of the pieces that are in the stage are some of the pieces in the stage, for various reasons, they rotate. Oh wait, is that the leg hiding there under the roots of that tree? What's there? Okay, it's not coming to me, so it must be an arm. I seriously have yet to see a leg. What's going on here? It's like I've been all the way down here. I need my first gen Saturn controller back. I feel like that's what will give me precision again. It's nice to have a new Saturn controller, but there's nothing like my favorite original. That looks like a rib or a hip down there. Yes, I've been to all corners of this level. Can't find the leg. And now I'm almost done. I'm probably gonna die before this level is over, and I think I'll just have to skip it. Yeah, there's the hip again. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna be lazy here. Because that level straight up, I wonder if that was like an actual glitch that I encountered there, that that there was no leg in that level and I needed a leg to clear it. Let's see if Day of the Bats can be kind, because Dawn of the Bats was not. So let's reform all of my pieces. And of course the platforming is even more evil on this. No, I'm defenseless. I have no arms. I have no arms, but I must zap. Hell, I don't even have my ribs. And if I had my ribs, I could pick up that arm. And if I had arms, this platforming would actually be much easier. Yeah, I'm just gonna move along here. Oh, an arm! Neat! I love how extra... I love the extra sound effects for Mr. Bones when he's not complete like this. Give me your energy. I need it. I need it more than you do, zombie. Whoa! That was lucky. And yeah, mastering these terrible mechanics. It's a lost art. Something that I should strive for again. No, but really, this game does run surprisingly well in Mednafen, so it's probably worth doing some save states along with each level. And oh, my desire to roast this dude is my downfall here. Yeah, I have an arm. Oh, but my energy level is that weak. Let's get these parts back. Back to Day of the Bats before, you know, where I get to be tortured a little bit more before getting onto the auto-scroller of rolling logs. All credit to the people at Zions for making me resemble a somewhat functional human being. I make no promises to be decent otherwise, so that's the poison that takes years off the end in expense for me being okay right now. If nothing else, you gotta appreciate this really weirdly peaceful music. Because you are out in the woods just enjoying nature. It's amazing what counts as a platform in this game. Come back, get your punishment. Oh, this freaking game. You love it and hate it all at once for its crazy controls. Oh! Hey, zombie. I just want to get my parts and run away. And also try to not break into pieces as I jump my way back up. I think... Just let me get that bluebird. There we go. Just a little bit more health. It's almost like those bats are a soft barrier. Oh, extra rib. Oh no. This game is really cruel sometimes. Okay, yeah, screw this. Screw this noise entirely. Because it tends to feel sometimes like you know, one enemy taps you and then all of a sudden all the rest of the enemies smell blood in the water, so they all kind of rush you. So onward to rolling logs. I mean, we get the concept. I must carefully reassemble myself through 3 levels, going on a scavenger hunt for my various pieces while dealing with bats and zombies. But now, one more bat comes for me. And these, you know, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot or anything, but thankfully, due to the shadows being cast and other things, like the overall speed of this level, you know, this is just a nice, relaxing cruise down a big hill. But given how high some of those logs are bouncing, I would probably be waving my arms around like that as well. Yes, my magic bones wrap around in case I lose them. Might be about 75% of the way through. And I'm not even interested in bothering to memorize the drop patterns of these, because this is basically an extended cutscene. Okay, crossing that log right there lets us know that the level's almost over. Oh no. Go figure, I would die as the level's almost over. But because of that, that might be a handy excuse for me to just go on to the next level, because I'm not here to like break this game or show off any extreme skill yet. I'm just here to kind of enjoy the game, show off the game, to let everyone know, hey, we've got some weird concepts going on here right now, to say the least. So, with that having been done, it's time for a dramatic discovery. Degulian's castle, and now, for some reason, this weird little outpost of drums in the forest. Because Degulian did not count on the impurity wandering onto his secret drum stash. Don't blame him one bit. And now this is just a simple reaction time thing where you keep track of where the energy is flowing, and you have to hit the and you just have to hit the D-pad to go along with the drums that are receiving the juice. You're trying to contain the skeletism. I'm not even actually like pressing any buttons, it's just holding D-pad, that's it. It's a pretty nice breather after the hell that this game just put you through, so I'm grateful for it. This also proves Mr. Bones to be Mr. Talented. He can shred guitar, and he can do percussion. And even, as we'll find out a little bit later, do some sweet vocals too. Okay, I think it's almost over now. Especially now that it's picking up the pace like this and getting a little bit more frenetic. Woohoo! More cutscene insanity. So good at drumming, I tore a hole in the space-time continuum.
Whoa! That's quite a backbeat I got going there.
But of course, you mess with Degulian's drums and you get on his radar. Into some other place in the afterlife. But let's see what's next for me. Glass shards. This is where they just take all semblance of normal platforming and throw it out the, no pun intended, window.
The first thing, when somebody realizes that wants to know what the blues is, the first thing they got to realize is that everybody has it.
Gaining some momentum here.
Little baby, as soon as he comes out of the mama and has the blues.
Can I clear that gap to the right? No.
You know, not a matter of not having the blues or not knowing. It's a matter of not recognizing.
Guess I should go to the right instead.
It's just like we think that, just because somebody's got $10 million, they're happy. I can't prove this, but this is how I figure it. If prison ain't the blues, man, I don't know what is. There's been times when I've just been, just down, like they say, so far I can't see where up is at. You don't know what to do with it. You can't hold on to it inside forever, or you figure it'll bust you apart, and you can't let go of it to anybody because that won't necessarily do any, fix the problem. Sometimes a man's got to cry. Hung up to think, man, he's supposed to cry, he ain't a man or something, so he takes his guitar and he just kind of...
If this ain't the blues, I don't know what is. Having the blues preached at you while you're playing through a level. Truly groundbreaking game design.
While he's got this thing that will make a noise, and we give him company and all, he can say things that sometimes it's a little hard to get out in words.
And some of these glass panels are split in the middle, so you can't say nothing for too long.
Maybe he can't make it say words, but he can make it say a whole lot of different things.
Yep, definitely glass, which is hence the pun in this level name.
Can only talk to you if you make it talk.
Ooh, nice.
Valve, and get all that garbage out sometimes. It makes a man feel better. It's just about the music. I believe that.
Sometimes you gotta kick back and let the weirdness of the game wash over you.
But I mean, this is what the blues is. Sometimes it's a very good thing that we have the blues. Sour with the sweet.
Sour with the sweet.
Okay, friend. Come on in and I'll play you some music and we'll talk about it. The awesomeness, the awestruckness.
Awestruckness.
There are people that have to look in the dictionary to find out what blues means. It has.
Well, I definitely reasoned out what would theoretically be the fastest route through that level, and that's all the way up on the right side. Now, Big Bones, this one is messed up. This one is absolutely a terrifying level, and being able to devise all the ways to go through this one quickly is going to be a challenge, to say the least, because I'm reassembling myself one piece by one piece, doing some Matryoshka doll trippy stuff here in this level. Just gotta bounce and bounce. Like that first set of bones was to the left, so I'm believing this one's to the right. No, it looks like I gotta go to the left again, and keeping track of that. I think this level it's non-random, so it can be. There's no like manipulations for it. You just have to know whether you're going left or whether you're going right. And and those are not technically a barrier. You gotta be able to temporarily knock those skulls out so you can proceed. And then I now can collect my hips. Now that I have ribs and hips, I can collect arms and legs. And of course, if I ever drop my bouncing skeleton here, then the penalty is being taken back up a step. Okay, I'm gonna head this direction again. Legs are to the right. Yeah, some of those don't go away, so you have to find a way to manage the bouncing in very, very scary ways. Uh-oh. Ugh. Got knocked back by one. That was scary. Okay, onward. Yeah, I have to make my way under those unbreakable bones off to the right. Which is a very scary way of bouncing things. I like how they yawn on their way out. Like, oh hey, I'm done here. Yeah, you can see how scary that is. That's just a devastating thing to try to get someone to maneuver for this game. Okay, now I think I get to go. Get to go to the right again? Okay. Oh, come on. I get to do the super bouncing again. I would just like to officially announce that I have reached 1,300 views sometime during this stream. So many thanks to everyone who has ever stopped by. Many thanks to everyone who is currently here. I gotta give you nothing but love for coming and finding this weird little corner of the internet to indulge in your retro love. This is so tough. And like trying to manipulate enough momentum to go over that, it's the real efficient way is to go under, as frustrating as that is, because going over is a risk that you'll get tossed back in a very terrible fashion. Yes! Ooh, that one was rough. Okay. One more piece to go. Gotta find that last leg. It looks like that last leg is gonna be to the left. That one skull is a red herring. Scary. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Whew. Whew. Uh-oh.
Oh boy, I wish I had my guitar.
How convenient.
What can you do on the moon? You can't even breathe on the moon. What can you do in this world. You can't even love in this world. You can't face the darkness, can't face the light. You can't even live in this world. You can't even love in this world.
She's blue now. She's on my side.
I don't know your story, ma'am. I don't even know my own. But I gotta get out of here and stop that man from doing what he's doing. Can you help me?
She'll hold down the guitar while reopening a rift in space-time. So where now? Oh, Vortex. Oh, this is yeah, this is basically Tempest. In a way. Except I just have to jump instead of fire at things. So it's not exactly Tempest, but it's Tempest inspired. And let me collect that. Collect them ribs. Gotta have them ribs. And gotta have them hips. Oh no! Now I can't pick up legs. And now I can't pick up arms. Now I'm back to square one. I should probably make more judicious use of jumping. And it's kind of fun hearing all the random riffs from all the other level music while playing through this. Just gotta be more considerate. Oh, those are legs right there. Gotta wait for the legs to cycle through. So now I can finally get hips. And now let's collect some limbs, shall we? 2 arms, 1 leg. Time for a second leg. Bam! Oh boy. This river is gonna cause me a lot of stress. And now, ooh, such is a grievance that we had in the mid-90s, is making sure to insert another disc. So what I think I'm going to do, given all of the hell that I just got rung through here, I'm going to turn up the tunes. I'm going to take myself a little break here. I know a little bit earlier than usual, but this is naturally a good break point for that. So I'm going to let it hang here. I will switch discs when I get back. I will return in 10 to 15. So thanks everyone who is watching. I'm just gonna go away, do the human thing for a little bit, decompress for making sure that the back half of the stream is gonna be great. See you soon. Okay, okay. I'm back. I promise I'm back. Let me knock down that music a little bit. Let me get things back in that place, and I'm just going to head straight back here to the main game scene, where you can see that I have, as promised, left it here on the game waiting for me to insert another disc. So I think I will do exactly that right now. If all goes well, I pop in the disc, the Saturn reboots, and picks up directly into the next level. So there's that. Yep, just to kind of let you know even more so that we are playing on a real deal Saturn. Saturn that happens to have been equipped with a pseudo Saturn Kai. If you've not picked one of those up for your Saturn, I highly recommend it. Does a lot of really cool stuff for your Saturn, including memory expansion, backup your saves to it, as well as making your Saturn region free, so you can play whatever games feel good. So, alright, this one, yet another auto-scroller, just making sure that I avoid the edges while dealing with the very slippery controls. this is kind of one of those things that I'm not entirely going to understand or question here. That we have this level that's entirely based around Mr. Bones getting sucked through the rushing water of an underground cavern, and yet this all of a sudden becomes a hazard in a little bit here. Yeah, and yet another issue that kind of comes along with this here is the collision detection being a little bit weird, plus the fact that everything you could think about with when it comes to limitations of old games, namely, we're kind of playing through a video right now, and video is heavily compressed, so you end up with a very limited set of colors. So sometimes I'm being taken through sharp turns where it's very difficult for me to make the right judgment of which way I need to be going. And also the swimming controls are just kind of forced upon you instantly without any sort of training on top of that. So what I end up having to contend with is, thankfully I know as much from experience with this game, is that the controls for this section are inverted. So if I press up, it makes me head down. If I press down, it makes me swim upwards, etc., etc. Probably like a lot of people have for their aiming controls when playing your favorite FPS. Except I'm doing this with a D-pad, by the way. That's always a tight curve right there. Alright, let's just try to get back into it. I was already doing pretty decently. I'd gotten along pretty far. No, I guess start is the correct choice, unless it's going to sit here and tell me to insert other disc. Okay, good. It repeats the, I think it repeats the cutscene on both discs. Well, let's skip the cinematic and get right back to that rushing water action. Now, I find that kind of interesting that they put that there as a, just as a helpful nod to the player, because obviously you do not need them, but this is the only place in the game where that particular health refill exists, where, I mean, obviously there's health refills throughout the game, but the health refill with that specific look of the weird transparent balloons, this is the only level in which those assets appear, so the game needed to remind you, hey, if these show up, they are friendly, they are good, please collect them. And it's really the camera angle that moves you more than anything else, which is kind of frustrating. Because you could kind of see, you know, you could find a sweet spot that you could theoretically stand in if this were a properly free-form level, but it's not. So you're having to make adjustments with whatever the camera does to your momentum. Oh, this part. Ugh, brutal. Oh, how convenient. Okay. Yeah, I think now I'm set for the middle third of this stage. Not with those hits. Oh, good lord, that was bad. That was very bad. very tight turn here. Oof. I don't know how I made that. That helps a little bit. Okay. So even when it doesn't look like I hit anything, there's still artificial borders which are spread everywhere. Oh, finally. Almost to the end. 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 Yep, and you must be whole to leave this, or else you fail. Muting myself for the cutscene.
Do you think he's dead, Bob? Of course he's dead. Look at him. Maybe we should tie him up to be on the safe side. Bob? Tie him up? What for? He's dead. Jim?
Oh, now what? Do I look like a shoe? Get these laces off me.
Oh no. Dagulian's walking bones will get no help from us. Dagulian is stealing my people. He's using them as slaves in his castle.
Little bitty slaves? Oh, that's too cruel. But I don't walk for Dagulian.
He uses arachnids. See?
Kidnapped by spiders? Oh, the weirdness never stops. I can help you. Look at me, sir. Look at my eyes.
You can stop the spiders from stealing my people?
Sure as my name is Mr. Bones. Now, get me out of this.
Also, this guy talks. The other skeletons do not talk. Of course he's dead, Padoka Gaming, yes. I mean, technically he's dead, but not actually dead, so it's technically correct, the best kind of correct. So, Little People Village. And now I get to snap spiders off the, And that's just a little bit of back and forth.
Mr. Bones! Mr. Bones! Mr. Bones!
Just gotta snap that. Try to not lose my bones here. And I'm sure I'm gonna have to lose out on one or two. Yeah. I think the level is intentionally made that you're not going to ever be able to get 100%, so you just have to do the best you can. Really neat music in this level too. Just a few more. Okay, I need to reassemble myself. Oh no! Yeah, because yeah. Yeah, let's hit that again. Little People Village, and then the worst levels ever are coming up shortly. XYZ, they just make the bones explode. And I'm not sure if the spider drops are completely random. I feel like on a certain level they are predetermined. Especially because other levels in this game that could have been random were not random. So these spider spawns might be legit. And this is where all the rhythm gets messed up. Great. Already losing a couple of them. And I can choose, if I'm feeling very desperate for energy, I can choose to zap spiders with my hand. Oh no! Oh, just barely too late there. Two more. Even though I got set back by one. Save you. One more. There we go. Celebrate!
Thank you, Mr. Bones.
Don't mention it. Now, I gotta get out of here. Whoa! Careful with that leg bone, children. I'm a brittle man.
Oh, now he's in smaller pieces. Rest of the game is not.
Bones, we're carrying a skeleton to an icy lake. We carry him so carefully, he's never gonna break. Carrying a skeleton to an icy lake, and his name is Mr. Bones.
Bones. Okay, Icy Lake. This is definitely one of those levels where I'm going to stick very tightly to my 3 attempts and I skip it rule, because when you see the brutality that's coming along here, first and foremost, the perspective here, the overhead weirdness that we already have to deal with, and also the fact that, yes, I'm on slippery ice because, you know, naturally, if you are made only of bone, then being able to get any sort of friction going on ice is going to be difficult. Just a thought. So, yeah, and then that's the example right there, that if you fall in, it's basically you fall in twice and you're dead. There's no mercy in this. And those floating pieces of ice are there to kind of forcefully guide me through. So I have to wait for one of those floating pieces of ice to drift down this way. Or, in the case of one not showing up here, I get to wind up to create some momentum and try to cross small gaps. This level will allow the crossing of small gaps, but one can't try to cheat the system by continuously running across a large gap. You need to use those floating shards that are just below the ice as support. And right now it's easy because these are stationary shards. And you can just follow them as a nice handy path between all of the, between the solid spots. But now I screwed up and had to come down to this. But there are later parts where a shard will appear and I have to follow it. So I'm going to break this one loose and follow it around a little bit, see where it takes me. And yeah, you already noticed jumping on it sends it downwards and makes it basically unavailable for a moment. And the, for lack of a better phrase, hitbox on these ice flows is... It's as weird as can be. Sometimes you can survive something that you shouldn't have survived, and then sometimes you fall immediately into the icy lake. It's weird. Okay, so there's my ride. Time to jump on it. Gonna go try to hunt for some health pickups here. Woo! Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that as much as I can. Okay. Alright, now that I've caught sight a little bit of where I need to go, let's try this again. Gotta come at it with a full head of steam here. Stick to the solid places. Or do I have to wait for the floater to come by to go up the right side? I think the floater needs to be my rescue here. Do I not get a floater? Am I completely screwed here? What's my angle? Okay, I could do that. That's an option. Wasn't the greatest option. Oh, hey! I hit kind of the checkpoint. That's sort of the halfway point of the level, especially when the game hands you a full health refill like that. So now things are going to get crazier. It's going to escalate, as games tend to do. Let me reset myself back here. Oh, boy. Yep, that's always the risk that's possible. This level is also one of the very few in this game to get its own unique death animation like that too, which is pretty neat. So you get to be subject to a pair of death clips instead of just the one usual. So let's get back onto the icy lake for attempt 2 of 3. Just gonna throb the letters here. Okay, this is my ride. Take me to Valhalla. Let's see how far can I deal with the solid parts. Okay, all the way up here. Cool. Now to run. Yeah, I got scared and jumped, which thankfully is okay during this stretch. In future stretches, that will not be the case. Oh no. Okay, gonna hang out here for now while waiting for my ice to come in. Waiting at the bus stop for my piece of ice. Gonna take this back to the ever famous frame rule explanation in Super Mario Brothers that describes the way in which the game takes you to the next level. Something that's often talked about by speedrunners in Super Mario Brothers is not whether you can save tenths of a second or anything like that, tenths or hundredths of a second. The talk is always about how you can save frame rules instead, because it's always been compared to a bus leaving every 21 frames of the game, and It doesn't matter if you save 0.2 of a second. Frame rules dictate that about every third of a second is when the game will check to see whether to load the next level. It's one of the coolest little explanation geek out things in video gaming, to me at least, that there are a surprising amount of video games that rely upon the frame rule system to be able to perform a lot of their calculations. Nope, not gonna fall for the bait there. Oh no! Oh no! I was doing so well! I was doing so well. But it all fell apart. Okay. Third attempt on the way. Yep. Fell in all of the possible ways. So, third and final attempt of the Icy Lake. I'm really hoping for some times in the future where I can really grind these levels and have them as automatic as I once had them long ago. There's my bus. I didn't have to wait for it because I met it right when it arrived. I didn't have to wait for the bus to cycle back. Gonna stay on solid ground as long as I can. And see, even then, you can see the way that the ground is drawn. You have to really have a lot of trial and error to really kind of figure out what's solid and what's not, because there are definitely parts that look solid that are not, and it's incredibly frustrating to try to deal with that. Okay, barely got that one. But I feel like the game did try hard to minimize the amount of trial and error to make sure it's obvious what you could stand on and what not. I just wish it were a little bit more forgiving when you made a mistake. That's all I could ask for. But you're already on an icy lake, and as we've known from playing many other video games, ice levels are pure evil. Ooh. Oh. I have an ice a floating piece here. What if I try to ride that? How far can I take it? Where is it gonna get me? Because obviously going to the left would have been the easy route. Oh, that's how far it takes me? Without even the chance to get some good momentum? Nasty. Okay, gonna wind up and take the left side here, and hope for the best. And that's what's also frustrating, is that sometimes you just have to take a run of faith and just dive into the ice here. I don't even know where I'm supposed to go now. Do I just have to run and then start jumping? I think that might be the case. Wow! That did not look like ice that should have broken out from under me. Okay, here comes the courage run here. It didn't refreeze. That's brutal. So anyway, if you've been watching this level, you get the picture. The double death cinematic here. So let's move on to From Beneath the Ice, which is it's mercifully very short, but it's also just as nasty as being above the ice. You'll see in a second here. It is an auto-scroller in the worst way. Oops, I was going the wrong way. Oh man, yeah, thankfully it gave me one mulligan here because it knows I died immediately. I started by going the wrong direction. It's like the Crash Bandicoot stages where there's a boulder coming at you, but worse. Because you have an incredibly limited field of vision here. And you can hear the cracking ice chasing you down. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Very unusual circumstances to get mercy from this game, to get multiple attempts to try to get it right. Well, it probably had something to do with my health meter as well. Yeah, you just had to navigate that little stretch, but it was so stressful. Now for Shadow Monster, a very weird level concept where you have to keep mashing a button to open some doors in the background. But there's a twist to it because literally your shadow is affected as part of what can be damaged here. You're in a very cursed room. Nope, we have to hit the blue one, because of course. Yeah, so we'll get the health refill here. There we go. And I think just like 2 more taps of the buttons will do it. It's a mechanically simple level, but pretty annoying when you realize, oh hey, the shadows are my actual enemies here. Yikes! That hurt. Yeah, when I'm tiny... Oh, one of the best songs. Oh yeah, really beautiful guitar work here. Very subtle, very understated. Oh, come on. I was so close. Yeah, Padoka Gaming, I hope you enjoyed that soundtrack that I linked earlier. It's just a good thing to have around. And you know, you've grabbed some of my other soundtracks before. I make sure that there's quality in the audio. It's as good as the MP3 format can possibly allow in the audio quality that you'll get. I do not mess around with my rip settings or the apps that I use for ripping. Can always do flak, yeah. Technically always an option. And I don't know, maybe I do have that. Maybe I do have flax hiding. Actually, that's kind of my one regret. I don't know where the disc is right now. I know I can easily find the disc, but I don't know where it is right now. And I would have to spend a lot more effort trying to recover it than I have time for right now. I thought I saw a butterfly off to the side, yeah. Yeah, running back straight up the middle is always a good idea. Oh, so close. Because I feel like after this level, things start to get really easy. Or at least a little bit easier, because it's cutscene level, cutscene level, cutscene level. Just a lot. There's a lot more video on this side. So one more try for Shadow Monster, and then we get to go into some good comedy, I think. Those PS4 paddles dongles pretty dumb. Wish they made a Pro controller instead. All I need the PS4 controller to do is to swap the D-pad and the analog stick like all the other controllers out there. That would be nice. I can deal with everything else about the PS4 controller. Just let me please have an analog stick in a better location. Let me get my health refill. Oh, come on! Dying as I pick up the health refill. That's just cruel. I need some back buttons to play PSO2. Oh. I heard about some weird... I was watching on Twitter, I was seeing some video game YouTubers talk about this special weird additional button thing that they attach to their PS4 controller. I'm not sure what it is. What would you use those back buttons for on PSO? Down the dark cavern we go. Just more action buttons so I don't have to use L3, R3. Oh yeah, it is pretty frustrating when you have to use L3, R3 for things, because it's easy to forget that those buttons are available. Yeah, clickable thumbsticks. I understand somewhat, but it's really hard to use that sometimes. Horrible to use. Yeah, because you never feel like you can use them with precision, I think is the problem. Okay, I already messed up my cycling of this. And I should have started with the right side so I wouldn't waste my health refill. You can't properly use them while moving. Yeah, that is exactly the problem. Okay, so I got myself in a good cycle here. Because those random rocks that fall are not that random. Very little of this level is actually random, so you can technically single cycle it if you want. Action RPG, as many buttons as you can get. Oh, totally agree. Yeah, I've not messed with Phantasy Star Online, but I trust your judgment there. That's where I fell last time. Please let me get a mushroom here. So I'm gonna get back on the correct cycle. Okay, I fell on the right side. Now I fell on the left. Now I fell on the right. Okay, good. And in a way, what's kind of also frustrating is how these, the way that the rock behavior cycles forces you to alternate. I took the bait. How was I taking further damage? He was hitting my various body parts? That was frustrating. Getting desynchronized there is pretty frustrating. Okay. Select. Back to dry mode. Maybe it was a rock off screen. Yeah, seems like it. Yeah, this game is very unfair, and trying to work against those unfair parts is pretty crazy. It's pretty rough. Okay. Now I know where the fall cycle starts. It's on the right. There's the left one. And now something will fall to the right again. left one. There's the right. There's the left. Now I'm gonna get hit again by the left rock. Wow. Wow. This level keeps betraying me. It's mocking me, even though, like, this level hears me calling out its cycles, and it's still owning me. That's how terrible I am right now. As we've already seen before, this game is known to be terrible for its collision detection. There we go. First part. Something fell from the left. I'm gonna go pop this one here. And those extra random falling rocks seem to be on their own cycle timer, separate from the way that everything else behaves too. It's asynchronous, so it's pretty frustrating. So that's left. Back here. Getting that. Safely hang out over here. Like, he really dislikes the thought of being freed here. There we go. The right one has been dealt with, and yeah, I've not been able to sort out the behavior of those. Ooh, I got very lucky there. And one more, I think, there on the left side. One more now. It's almost like they force you to skip cycles with the way that those random falling rocks go. And the one that just freaking killed me. Okay, moving onward. As we trudge through this entire freaking... As we all sail together on this massive failed boat, let's watch Evolution to see what would happen if I had actually gotten my shit together there.
Ah, liberty is a sweet thing to savor. I do hope you'll forgive my aggressive and extremely rude behavior. My imprisonment made me somewhat testy, I'm afraid. Now, hop on. And hold on tight.
now this is finally where some of the gameplay starts becoming storytelling as well, I think. A really mechanically simple level, mechanically kind of terrible level, but it does do some very neat things with actually humanizing the villain of this game, which I find very interesting. So we find it fairly clear here that the Dagulian hollowed out a once thriving, beautiful church and rebuilt it as a temple to honor himself. Seeing all of this corrupted imagery of this church that's been shattered to pieces, but he put up this stained glass and I'm busting through. You can see here in this country, this is where he was born. This is where he was raised tenderly with love by his own mother. But young Dagulian soon began to be very curious about the dead, starting simple experiments on dead rats that he would come across, and it would only get weirder from there. And because of all these sick and weird experiments, the townspeople started to shun him. There he stood before the judge, before the council of his village, of his city, whatever you want to call it. And young Dagulian, by unanimous decision, was to be exiled from the place where he came from. So as a cast-off, he wanted revenge of some sort, so he found a way to continue his experiments independently by finding this hollowed-out church. This hollowed-out husk of a church would eventually be the place where Dagulian would refine and perfect his ability to reanimate the dead. And so his experiments would continue all throughout his adulthood, becoming more and more intense as time went on. Let's not downplay the size of this church. The fact that he was able to scare off everything that was connected to it is crazy. So therein became his first creation, his first nearly a robot for all of his experiments with skeletism. Now he could finally raise humans from the dead after starting with rats as a child. And up his army came. And he would even start harvesting little people with spiders, just as we saw, as we played through together. But as it would come to pass, Dagulian did all he could to prophesize his future, where he would dominate the entire world and inject it with pure evil skeletism. Oh, so right here in Dagulian's lair, almost. These are all his big skeletism generators. And this is kind of like asteroids. But it's really hard to aim because my momentum... I can control my momentum a little bit with L and R. But that only goes so far because my D-pad movements also kind of dictate where Mr. Bones goes. And it's just a very slippery mechanism. It feels nearly impossible to deal with. I'm doing shockingly well right now, though. Just sitting here converting red skeletism to blue skeletism. And collecting it to the best of my ability. Oh, blue. There we go. Whew, that was nice. I finally cleared a couple levels.
Whoa! Party's getting rough.
Oh. There's just a couple more obstacles in my way. One of those obstacles is stand-up comedy. I wish I were exaggerating.
Whoa! This cat is serious. What he needs is an attitudinal adjustment.
Attitudinal. Funny bones. Now this level just sucks.
Now how do you make a drum sound totally cool? Sell it and buy a guitar.
Because the buttons that correspond to the pieces of the jokes are basically randomized. Try doing this in Japanese.
Time
Oh man.
flies when time's fun. You know how people say, time flies when you're having fun? Time's fun when you're having flies. You know how people say, or frogs say, you know how people say, time flies when you're having fun? Or frogs say, time's fun when you're having flies.
That was close. Yeah, trying to do this in Japanese, I would just mash and hope for the best.
Make me one. What did the Zen master say to the hot dog vendor? Make me one with everything.
Having to tell 8 jokes in succession, tough.
Orange, you glad I came? Knock, knock, orange. Knock, knock. Orange. Orange, too. Orange, you glad I came?
There we go. So much mashing.
How do you get 2 drummers to play in unison? Shoot one.
I got very lucky there.
1. How many zombies does it take to play hide and seek? 1.
I don't quite get that, but I guess zombies are just dumb.
Oh, don't cry. Knock, knock. Who's there? Boo. Boo-hoo. Oh, don't cry. It's only me.
Here we go. I'm doing quite well on this one. On this particular round.
Knock, knock. Who's there? The interrupting cow. The interrupting cow.
Wow, that was a near flawless joke run there. Huh. I'm into it. Now I'm locked into a room with the final boss.
It took me hundreds of years to make this night possible. I even prolonged my life with vampire blood.
Hundreds of years.
Besides 1,000 acres of stony lonesome.
A canvas of black. Who'd have thought one little white speck would ruin everything?
Me.
But I see red skies ahead now, Mr. Bones.
I don't know what became of that actor. I never looked him up. So for a final level, it's kind of underwhelming.
Exactly what I need.
But it's nice to just be able to cruise to the ending like this. Thinking the same about the actor, yeah. For him to get such a ridiculous part here, what else could he have done after this? Los Endos. Absorbing bad energy and pushing back the good energy with the power of my guitar. Requires some really good timing at certain points, especially the closer one gets to the end. It's a little bit like the drum mini game from earlier, but with a twist, I think. And also having to keep track of where the lights are headed can get difficult because you're having to keep in rhythm and all these other things. But it's fairly mechanically easy to deal with. I'll take the hit. That's fine. Because they're right there. End of the game. I'll turn up the volume and shut the hell up.
Gotcha. Oh, now we ain't gonna go through all this again now, are we?
What do you expect to extract when you stick a pipette into the heart of darkness? Puppy dog tails?
Excuse me, but didn't you say you had vampire blood?
Shut up! I'll turn you into toothpicks and give you to gluttons who eat nothing but gristle.
Behind you, man!
What's the alternative to evil anyway? Good? Ha!
Excuse me, but the sun?
Show me a good man, and I'll show you a hypocrite. Show me a hypocrite, and I'll show you evil waiting to happen. And I waited long enough. Centuries. The night belongs to me.
The night's over, man.
The long red night has just begun.
I hate to break it to you.
What?
High quality graphics right there.
Not much of a listener, was he? No body, and I have no skin. Ho ho! It could work out. It could happen.
Oh, still a satisfying ending, I think. I'll knock that volume back down. So, yeah, there's just another. I just wanted a nice, easy ride for my video game action here on Mr. Bones. I didn't want anything too crazy, and that's been my problem for actually, like, for about the past, I don't know, 3 to 5 weeks worth of streams, is that I didn't want to start anything large because I knew that I would be taking a stream break soon, and I'm glad Symphony of the Night ended at the right time. It did pretty well right there when it ended, but it also kept me from being able to start the way that I wanted. Yeah, there are definitely some bigger, longer games I have in mind for the future, and when I come back, I will of course be able to play them. I have some nice folks who are. I wanted to play Zelda Twilight Princess, but R.L. Ritchie, one of my favorite couple streamers, and the only couple streamers I know, but they are delightful. R.L. Ritchie currently started a run on Twilight Princess, so I can't do that. Thus, my only other choice is to pick up a casual run of Wind Waker, and I'm going to be hooking up my GameCube directly for that one. I think it's going to be a good time. It's been a long time since I've played either Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, so being able to get back to either one is going to be pretty great. I won't be able to call it blind, but I'll just be able to call it, you know, it's been at least 2 years since I've played either of the GameCube Zeldas, which, you know, are both worth playing. They should be played, in my opinion, kind of together, maybe? they're such opposite ends of the Zelda spectrum. Twilight Princess fell into that really interesting trap of video games in the mid-2000s where everything was just brown and gritty and dark. But that's okay. And I think I'll just keep this a short stream tonight. I know in theory I should probably keep going for another hour, but you know I also have a vacation to plan for too, so that's certainly a thing. So thanks for everyone who stopped by real quick. Yeah, I'm capping it early. You know, it is a school night after all. I know the time zone is very different for you though, Padoka Gaming. I believe during my streams you've prepared lunch before, so that tells me all I need to know about where you are. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I don't think I will raid. Actually, no, I think I will raid. I'm gonna raid Famine Jack. Dude deserves a raid. He's currently playing Akiba's Trip. I'm not sure what that is. Akiba's Trip, the only good vampire is a naked vampire. Akiba's Trip, undead and undressed. Ooh, seems like we might have some adult content here. So, he is currently on break, but I'm sure he will be back shortly. He had his own stream that he was tending to, so this will be a good motivation for all the different things that he could do. So, had to make sure to let the Mr. Bone stuff play out, of course. And with that, I'm going to press the magic button for the one particular song there. My own personal end credits, maybe some of the best end credits music that I could possibly think of. When I was putting all the music and stuff together on the stream, I was having a really tough time between this, along with the end credits to Mario Kart 64 as well as Super Mario 64, and I'm like, well, I already have this Mega Man thing going on right now. I should keep to that. So that's where this song comes into play. So thank you, Padoka Gaming. Thank you, Robert Headley. Thank you, David Runes. Thank you, Strictly. Thank you, McQueeb. Thank you, Hideous Winter. All who came to hang out tonight and watch me flail about. Slev86, also proper shout out to for doing the lurk thing. So I'm gonna go hit that raid button for Famine Jack, and I will see you in about 10 days. So take care. Have a good night. Bye bye.